Okay, hi everybody, happy new year. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time tonight. So I'm going to dive right into something that I really wanted to share with you guys, something that I have been thinking a little bit about, but I, like you, need to spend a little bit more time on it because the holidays were crazy. We have a lot going on, but um, I wanted to share with you guys a little bit, not really about like goal setting, but more about like growth setting. And so I know I've done things like this in the past where we sit down. It's really easy, I think, to set goals. You can find goal setting templates anywhere on the internet. You can just search goal setting templates, look it up, and you guys can do that. And I think it's really easy to do. And if you don't think it's easy, I can help lead you through something like that too. But it's really just thinking about what you want and, listing those types of things out. But I think something that's a little bit harder, that takes a little bit more time, is reflection and looking back at what the past year has brought you. Some of the things that were good, some of the things that were bad. And I feel like when we do that, and I have to be honest, I'm not an expert at this, but this is something I've been trying to get a lot better at. And I know that little by little, it will make more sense. But being able to look back is going to help you move forward and get closer to your goals moving forward. So hopefully you have a pen. If not, grab your phone and take some notes. I'll be able to like list these out somewhere for you guys. But before we get started, you guys know I like to do this. Just go ahead and uncross your legs, sit up nice and tall, shake your hands out, make sure your shoulders are back and relaxed. And I do this for a number of different reasons, but most of them are so that we can be focused and clear-headed, and it helps create creativity, and so that your brain is like more clear to think. So we're going to take 3 really nice deep breaths. So you're going to breathe deep in through the nose and hold it, and then exhale slowly. Again, take a deep breath in through the nose and hold it, and exhale slowly. And the next one, I want you to close your eyes, take a nice deep inhale, and exhale. Okay. All right. So we are going to get through this process by asking a series of questions. And if one of you wants to type it into the chat, if you feel like you can type it on your phone and type it into the chat, that would be great too for anybody who comes in late. Okay, so question number 1, I want you guys to look back over 2021, and I want you to think about what made you the most happy over the last year. And one of the best ways I think you can do this, and I just did this, was go through your photos. And hopefully you take a lot of photos. If you don't, you probably take photos of what some of the best moments, right? So go back through your photos, start in January. If you have an iPhone, it's super easy to do, to scroll and stop. I don't know about the other phones, and then just look at January, look at February, look at the months, and just look at those moments that made you the most happy. I know for me, when I do that, it's the beach, it's my family. And one thing that we vowed to do, we really started it 2 years ago, but we kept it going strong. Well, COVID kind of put a damper on things. But last year we were able to do is take really consistent date nights. And there's nothing better than a date night with my husband for me. That's one of the things that brings me the most joy. So we're not going to have time to answer these questions tonight, by the way. This is something that you guys are going to have to take time to do another time. It probably should take at least an hour. And if you're like me, it's hard to sit down and take the time to do this. But I can promise you guys, if you do, you are going to have really clear direction this year. I did, I guess. I'm hoping, I guess I can't promise you anything, but I think if you do this, then it's going to be proven to give you really clear direction. Okay. So question number 1, what made you feel the most happy this year? Question number 2, what made you unhappy this year? And you're not going to have photos of this probably. And this might be a little bit of a harder question to answer. Thanks, Melissa, for putting that in the chat if you guys are missing the questions. I don't know if something comes to mind right away for you guys. But I think for me, like one of the things that made me the most unhappy was, I know during COVID, the year before 2020, everything shut down and I learned how to be still and not do things. And it made me really, really happy because I'm a goer and a doer. And I didn't realize how much my body and my spirit needed that, like slowing down. But 2021, man, I picked it right back up. I was like, I just completely forgot everything I learned. And I was going. And I know that was one of the things that made me unhappy. I said yes a few too many times. And me and Michelle Fletcher talked about this month. I guess in November, I noticed it and it was a theme playing out in December for sure. I needed to say no more to the things that weren't aligning with my values and my priorities. So that was one of the things that made me unhappy this year as I reflect and look back. And if you guys want to chat, you can, if you want to share something, it might help somebody else to spark something that they're thinking. Okay, question number 3. What was the biggest lesson you learned this past year? Number 3 is, what was the biggest lesson that you learned this past year? For me, it's without a shadow of a doubt that everything always works out no matter what. And so I worried a lot this year over things that kept working out. I'm not saying they worked out the way I wanted them to, but they always worked out the way they were supposed to. And so I can give you guys probably 5 examples. I'm not going to, but I can give you 5 examples of things that I got severe anxiety and stuff over that always worked themselves out. So for me, my biggest lesson in 2021 was that to trust the process really, and, you know, have a little bit more faith than what I had. So number 3, what was the biggest lesson you learned this past year? Number 4, what do you wish you would have done more of this year? And by the way, this is a Juice Plus training. I know we're going to get to the Juice Plus stuff, but all of this is connected. I don't think you can separate Juice Plus from your daily life. So this is Juice Plus related. Number 4, what do you wish you would have done more of this year? For me, 2 of these questions are connected, but I'm just going to say read. I wish I read more. That's all I'm going to say, because it'll come up in the next one of the next questions. If you're just joining us, welcome. Hi, Trina.
Hi.
Okay, so we're asking a series of questions to help us reflect on the past year, which is going to help us move forward into the next year. And they are in the chat. I think Melissa is writing them. And I am going to send them out later too. But we're on question number 5. So we just did question number 4. What do you wish you would have done more of this year? We are not going to have time on this session to answer these questions. I want you guys to write them down, write down anything that's coming to you as I'm talking. And we're going to have to set aside some time, another time that you guys take to meditate and reflect. And it should take about an hour. Okay, just recapping. All right, number 5. What's something you want to do less of next year? So that's connected to number 4 for me, because something I want to do less of is watch less TV. Before COVID 2020, I did not watch a lot of TV. I mean, people would talk about Netflix shows and stuff like that, and I had no idea what they were talking about. I watched nothing. Like, we would randomly put on a show at night, but I was either too tired or I was reading, or, you know, we would maybe watch one episode of something, but we weren't binge watching anything. We weren't addicted to anything. For some reason, 2020, we found ourselves watching a lot of TV, and that bad habit carried us into 2021. And I have been binge watched all of the non-scary shows. Like right now I'm into The Crown and I can't stop watching it. It's so boring and I can't stop. So anyway, I'm working on breaking that habit. So that's something I mean, I really, really wish I did less of in 2021. Okay. Now we're going to get into a little bit more of a business question. Number 6, what was your biggest success this year? Some of you might think of success as something that happened in your business or maybe your personal life or something like that. But I want you to think outside the box and think of success as also growth. Something that came from this year that you were proud of, that where you felt accomplished. Probably you worked hard at it. So for me, one of my biggest successes this year was a family success, was pulling things together for us to be able to move this year, which took a lot of planning and executing. But also on our team, we had a lot of team that moved forward this year. And so, you know, a lot of when you have a team underneath you that is reaching promotions and doing things, it takes a lot of planning and it takes a lot of commitment. And for me personally, that was one thing. I was committed to helping my team move forward for sure.
Give me a couple minutes, bud. Give me a couple minutes.
Okay, number 7. When was a moment you failed this year? And this can kind of be related a little bit to what made you unhappy, but what is something that happened this past year where you were where you were maybe disappointed in yourself or thought that you could have done better at? For me, this was completely business wise, and you guys know I'm nothing but vulnerable and honest on my calls. And so for me, I definitely failed being consistent with my DMO, and not just like a little bit. I think, you know, you can be inconsistent here and there, but I really dropped the ball with keeping track of a lot of things and working consistently my own DMO. And that sometimes happens when you have a team and you're working with them. You kind of can drop the ball on your own DMO, but you can't really. You're not supposed to. Okay, let's see, one more. Question number 8. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 more. Number 8, what is something you want to learn next year? Okay, ready? When you're thinking about your Juice Plus goals, some of you are trying to reach NMD, some of you are trying to reach Senior Sales Coordinator, some of you are trying to reach QSSC. Usually in our business, we're looking forward to the next promotion, right? The next level. But instead of saying, I want to be an NMD, what if you said, I want to learn how to lead people more effectively? Or I want to learn how to be a better salesperson without being salesy. If you're a partner and you need to be Partner Plus or you want to be QSC, you're not looking at leadership things as much, but maybe I want to learn how to be a better social seller. I want to learn Facebook better. So when we talk about getting to the next level, it's pretty simple. We do the DMO, we talk to people, we share stories, we do events, we do throughput calls. It's not rocket science, but the thing that's going to get you there is a level of growth that's outside of the level you're at now. You cannot get to the next level unless you grow. And a lot of times we're missing that important piece. Why? Because we have to slow down a little bit to learn that skill. Because you can't learn a skill on how to sell while you're selling. So most of us are out there posting stuff on social media to see what sticks, when we could be taking the social media course that's now on the Juice Plus Hub. That takes a long time, like 30 days. So we are going to have to slow down a little bit in order to move forward. And for me, something I want to learn a little bit more is how to really manage consistent, effective habits. And so my new QSCs, they're on the call tonight. Good job, girls, Jen and Bridge. They got, as a little present from me for making QSSC this year, this book called Atomic Habits. I don't know if you guys can see it. I think it's because it's whatever. It's called Atomic Habits. If someone can put that in the chat, Atomic Habits by James Clear. We are going to try to read it together. So we'll give everybody some time to kind of, I'm not good at this, so you guys will have to hold me accountable. I know Karen is, Bridget's good, but a little book club or something where we're talking about this together, maybe a Voxer chat. But I listened to a podcast with this guy, with my pastor, and it's not a Christian book, but my pastor's really big on self-development and self-growth. And about habits and about the way the brain works and how we can rewire our brain and how our habits don't define us. We can change them. And so when I listened to this podcast with this guy, I was like, oh, it was like life-changing. But I kind of have strayed a little bit from these habits. So I bought the book so I can I didn't read it, so I can read the book and refocus on these habits. Okay. So what's something you want to learn next year that's going to help propel you into your next level? Okay, number 9, last question. Are you guys, who's proud of me that I'm going to finish on time? Okay, what is your favorite way to refuel? This is a fun question. What is your favorite way to refuel? This might be something that you guys can chat about. You might know this right away, but what's really interesting is I think Catherine Lee say this: if you're an introvert, that doesn't mean you don't like talking to people or that you're shy. It means that you refuel by being alone. And if you're an extrovert, you refuel typically by being around people, like conversation. So I'm like an extrovert. So I know it's funny when you don't understand that between introverts and extroverts, the other one can be annoying to you. My husband, I think, is always like, why are you always talking to people? It really is how I refuel. I refuel by good girlfriend chat. I really refuel by working out. And one of the things I didn't do well this year that I actually did better in 2020 during COVID was once my gym opened back up, I started lifting heavy, and I kind of got away from it this year. I still lifted this year because I like to lift, but I got away from lifting heavy. And lifting heavy does something like to my physiology, like not only physically, but like just mentally. I feel stronger. I wish Sony was on here. She told me her word for the year was to be a badass. I feel like a badass when I lift. And that does carry on into my personal and professional life. When you feel strong and you feel confident and all those things, you're kind of like, for lack of a better word, like juiced up. It really does help. So all these questions, really, if you guys take the time to really reflect and really answer, this should take an hour. It took me about an hour, but I need to like probably do a little bit more. I got like some surface answers. I would love to sit and do a little bit more, which is hard for me because I'm an extrovert and I don't like being by myself and thinking. But a lot of good came from this because I thought, what are my goals for next year, for 2022? I mean, I'm so excited, but I don't really know why. You know, the next level for me is NMD, but like, why? Why do I want to be a national marketing director? Well, one of the things, and I didn't answer this in here, but one of the things also that makes me happy and where I see value and I see my purpose being fulfilled is like speaking and coaching and training and really being able to pour into people and serve people. And I get to do that. I get to do that now, but you get to do that you have more influence as a national marketing director. And it just kind of expands that influence and expands that circle of something that I believe is one of my gifts. And also that I really, really, really enjoy. I really do. I enjoy learning things and then I enjoy teaching them to other people. And so, and by the way, I learned all of this from Jay Shetty. I don't know if you guys know him. He wrote a book called Think Like a Monk. Again, that I didn't read, but I did a lot of like the Cliff's Notes. But I love Jay Shetty too. And there was somebody else I wanted to tell you guys about. Maybe it'll come to me. Jenna Kutcher. She has the Goal Digger podcast. There's a lot of good podcasts out there right now. If you guys want to dig deeper into goal setting and reflection. But I think that it's important as we move forward into our next year and into our next level and into our next self, because I do think that every year we're a different version of ourselves. I know I grow every year. In some ways, you know, some good ways, some bad ways. But that's what's so cool is when you do this, you're able to kind of see where you're at. And I also think it's really important to look back where you were and give yourself a pat on the back and clap, because we all did really good things this year. You might not realize it or remember it, but you're going to when you do this exercise. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up with that. And I would love if you guys have any comments, feedback, if you want to share your goals, if you already know your goals for next year, if we want to do another goal setting session, I can, because I know that, I don't know if that's what you were expecting tonight, but that's not really what this was. Sharon sent me a goal setting sheet that was like, actually, it had some of the same questions, but we can talk more about what do you want to accomplish in your Juice Plus business? What did you do well in your business this year? What did you not do well? You know, those are things I think we kind of know, but we might not realize it until we write it down. I think writing it down is important and thinking about it. And, you know, I think we're probably all could be better at customer care, right? We all could be better at doing three-way calls. I know one of my biggest successes in my business is when I got to QNMD, and we were doing a crap ton of three-way calls. So many three-way calls. I would go to bed right after a three-way call, like fully clothed, just pass out. I'd be so tired. So I remember every time I've gotten to a next level in Juice Plus, there has been all out massive action, and there's been a lot of work involved in that. And so I know that, you know, that's something that I know I can do a lot better in my business. Okay, I'm going to be quiet now. What do you guys have to add? We got 5 minutes before the Campbell call.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yes.
So, and I don't remember which question it was, but there was one where you said something like, rather than scrolling through Facebook to see what works, do training on our hub. Like which one were you saying? Like I missed kind of like the point.
Oh, I was saying social media. So what's one thing you want to learn this year? So sometimes we have to slow down to go forward. And so say you wanted to be a better social seller, instead of just jumping in and just throwing stuff up on social media to see if it works, do a training on social media and get better at social media, not just trying to figure it out yourself. And there is a training on the hub, a social media training that's like 30 days long. So sometimes it takes time and it takes stepping back in order to go forward. You guys are so quiet. All right, goodbye.
I think this was great, Jules. I know Amy Getz, they had a Christmas party, a holiday party for the whole team. And I went there and it was interesting in what you said, because I made it to Q last, I think it was April. And, you know, of course I want to be, and I love that you said, you know, instead of saying I want to be an NMD, I want to be, I want to have the skills to be a better leader, right? I want to be able to move my team forward. So I love that. But it's funny because I was talking to Kendall and then I was talking to Scott and we were all kind of in this little circle. And she said, and I said, gosh, I said, sometimes, I've got that all out massive action and I'm working and I feel great. And then sometimes I just pull back. And I think a lot of people do that. Mm-hmm. And, for different reasons. Mm-hmm. And so she said, well, what do you think is, because I said, I don't want to get stuck. And she said, well, what do you think, why do you think you would do that? And I said, you know what I think I need? I think I haven't made it to national marketing director because I think that I need to stop and I need to grow more.
Yes.
And it's really, really incredibly hard for me as a salesperson because I'm more of a machine where I just want to keep going. It's really hard for me to
Yes.
stop to grow.
Yep. Me
Um,
too.
And especially right now in January, right? Like this is the worst time to stop. Like I can't stop.
But
I
you know
have to
what,
wait.
Cletus says this all the time. He says, how is that working for you? Like, how is not
Yeah.
stopping working for you?
Yeah.
Like, is it, if you're not in the place you want to be, then change something. And so what?
Yeah.
You miss one January. You miss one January out of 14 years.
Well,
You
and I
know,
don't know
there's
that we
always
don't,
next January.
yeah,
But-
I don't know that you need to miss all of
No,
January.
no, right.
I think that I just need to
No.
reallocate some of the time
Yes,
to this, right? So
Correct.
it's not like I need to stop. I don't need to totally stop. I just need to pull back and maybe not do as much. But
yes,
one of the things he said too is, and I found this interesting, and I'm listening to one and I'm reading the other.
can bring
I
it
need
up
to
to him.
just finish one. But he said every January, he said, I read, oh my gosh, he said, I read the 4-8 principle, which I know was a game changer for you.
yes.
He said, and then I listen, or he reads also, oh my gosh, the 7 habits of highly effective people.
Yeah.
So I have that on Audible. So that's one of my biggest things too, is instead of listening to music when I go for a walk or I'm at the gym, I've been actually trying to listen to that instead. So like yours is TV,
Yeah,
mine is like listening to, the things I'm trying to do more of, listening to the Audible and listening to podcasts, because
Yeah.
that's not where my first to go is.
yes. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. And I just
Hey,
want to
Jules?
point, yeah, go ahead.
Are we gonna do the focus, what's that board called? The focus board that we did on
Oh, the
Camden?
vision board. I
Yes,
know.
vision board.
I was thinking about something like that. Yes. I don't know when, but yes, let's do that this month. Yeah,
Okay.
a vision board party. And
And I love that
Melissa,
effective 7, sorry, and I
no,
love
go
that
ahead,
book,
say it.
7 habits of highly effective people.
Yeah. And Melissa put her one word in the chat. That is also another really effective thing I've done for the past 10 years about now, picking one word instead of a bunch of resolutions. And it's funny how I can remember my words the last 10 years, and I print it out and I post it somewhere and I meditate on it and have a verse that goes with it. But it really does work more than I think than a list of resolutions. So like Karen, yours could be slow down or something, that helps you remember it. That one word really does help when you're all over the place. It brings everything back to focus with one word. Okay, it's 8:30. We got to get on the Wendy Campbell call. Good night, guys. Thank you guys for being on. Happy New Year. We'll do something again soon. Okay, so next Monday. Bye.